Benny, talk to me a little bit about your goals in raising kids, and then maybe your relationship with Leah since she's here. And Leah, you can do the same thing with your mom.
Our goal was to raise giant killers. Our goal was to raise kids with their own personalities. My goal as a mom was to keep them away from the religious part of churching and let them be themselves. We were crazy. I was crazy and wild with the kids. I think they all got my gene. Crazy hair. I used to perm the boys' hair and,
Oh, yes.
color it.
We got a picture
Leah
of Eric,
has had every
When,
color under the sun, and we just did crazy and wild things. Bill traveled, and he didn't travel as much when the kids were younger, but he did travel, and I'm a very independent person, so we just had a lot of fun. We just did things. I would much rather be with them than do housework. It's a terrible housekeeper.
I got that, Jean.
Yeah, I know.
Sorry, babe.
I moved here and went, I'm done. I'm getting someone to do it for me. And so, but we just wanted our kids to be real, be themselves. And I think that's evident now. And to really change the world the way they could, and to love God with all their heart. I mean, the question Bill asked you when you were asking for permission to marry Leah was just that: do you love God more than you love her? And that was the only question you asked. And I think it shocked you, Gabe. It's like, but that's the most important thing for us, and for our kids, that they love God more than anything else in the world. So that was my main goal. And as far as our relationship, she's the third, she's the baby in the family, and she is a tremendous blessing to both her and to me and her daddy. And we were like just really good friends. Her high school year, I homeschooled her, and we moved from Weaverville to here, and I just could not put her. She had been in a private school, and I just could not put her.
30 people.
Yeah, 30 people. And I could not put her in a high school of thousands. And she was okay with that. And so we homeschooled, and it was a great homeschool charter school. She had a graduation with cap and gown and the whole thing. And we spent a lot of time together then. And it was really a wonderful time for me, especially.
I love being raised by these two. It is everything and more. But I love how they really just let you be who you were. I had so many friends that were pastors' kids and have horror stories, and have fallen away from the Lord, and it's really sad to see that it's like kids get parented by the congregation, not by the actual parents. And so they did a really good job of separating that. And I didn't even think people in our church would have tried to parent us in that way anyways. They were great people. But it was a really great way. I mean, I've dyed my hair since I was 10. My mom's like, if that's how she wants to express herself in a very innocent way, go for it. So I had a lot of freedom and never felt like I had a ton of rules over me, but yet we had really good boundaries. But I chose those boundaries because that's just how we were raised. I mean, I also liked being really different. So story, we'd be riding in the car with a bunch of friends, and they would have horrible music on. I'm like, I'm sorry, I can't listen to that. You need to turn it off. But I somehow just had a really firm, stubborn, independent. I like to be different, so much so that I didn't mind telling a bunch of kids that were 3 years older than me, turn your music off. But I would attest that to them.
I have a great story of Leah. She was in 8th grade in Weaverville, and after school, sometimes she would walk to the high school. It was a very small town we lived in. She would walk to the high school and meet her brothers there. And I had a little concern about her getting ready to go into high school. We hadn't decided to come here yet, and and I was a little worried about how she would do under peer pressure and being in high school in a whole new environment. And I drove up to pick the kids up at the high school, and I saw my daughter, an 8th grader, standing up to a senior in high school, boy, 2 times taller than her, in his face, yelling at him and telling him, "I told you to stop swearing in front of me." And I looked at her and I went, no problem.